Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
I am so excited to be here. Welcome to the very first episode of the Dark Joseph Ravine Show. There's so much happening in the world right now. I'm sure many of us are keeping up with what's trending. That all brings me to the reason why I have my very special guest here, who is not only an award-winning publicist, but a life changer, and also a very big helper of the Canada community. Please welcome my special guest, Tracy Lamourie.
Hello, hello. Hello. I am more than thrilled to be here with you and on your very first episode. So this is an honor and a privilege. And I'm thrilled to be here as you spread kindness and help people share their stories.
Great. So my first question is, what got you started in public relations and what was your inspiration about it?
So basically, I do what I do to get people's stories out there, to get people to access, the world, to tell their story, to share their story, to inspire others. And it all started when I never thought I'd be an award-winning publicist. It wasn't in the cards. I wasn't thinking about it. I was a young activist along with my husband, Dave Parkinson, and we got involved with a story of somebody who was factually innocent, actually innocent, had been wrongly convicted on death row. Not something we ever thought we'd be involved in stateside. But I learned to write, I believe that when you see you're wrong, you should write it. And even those of us who think that we don't have any power, you know what, we do. I learned that. I learned to write a press release. My husband learned to make a website. We ended up getting national and international attention. Long story short, the world recognized that he was innocent. He was freed. And, we're doing this now. So we learned basically how to access the media, how to break down those doors of the media, and how to let people share their stories. And that's so important for everything.
And that's such an inspirational story, because if you think about it, if you think you're changing the life of someone else, and that's how you're changing your own life as well.
Without ever meaning to.
Yep. That's how we become better as people.
1000%.
When we can change other lives for the better. And
100%. That's the lesson, Joseph. And people look at me, you award-winning parties and or whatever. I mean, Cannes and festivals and red carpets, and how do you do that? Ooh. I'm like, what? That was never what we planned. What we were trying to do was help somebody that nobody was listening to. And that's not because we're special or good people or whatever, because I really believe everybody would do that if, what's the difference? They thought they could. I think people really think they leave things to other people, not because they're, not caring, but because they don't feel empowered.
Exactly, and that's the big issue with a lot of people, that they're very misunderstood and they feel that they're not being heard enough. And that's all the reason why you came into this industry, to make a difference. And I always encourage everybody, whatever you do and whatever you're passionate about, always do your best to make a difference. Because if you do something and you're not out to make a difference, you will often lead to failure.
And we were speaking about this offset too. Even if somebody is successful, reach the height of success, for me, and for you, like you were saying, if they're not using that platform to do something good, what's it all for anyway? If you're elevated to that level, that point, speak about something good, the way you have been doing with your celebrity. And that's, incredible that you literally put kindness into the world. You speak about bullying. You don't just talk about yourself. You talk about what can we do and what should we do to make a difference. And you really inspire the individual person that they can actually change
and the future generation too. That's a very good way you say that. I also want to note, you talk about advertorial versus editorial when it comes to PR. Would you say that's very similar to paid versus organic, when you pay for something to happen compared to when something happens naturally because of genuine interest?
1,000%. When you're in the language of today, the influencer language, exactly, it's paid versus organic. In the language of media and the PR, we talk about editorial versus advertorial. What does that mean? Well, as entrepreneurs and or as creatives, as whatever, when we're passionate about what it is we're selling, whether it's the business we've created or the film we've created or the book we've created, we're used to speaking in an advertorial way.
Yeah.
But if you reach out to media with that attitude, no, they'll be happy to send you to the ad department, right? There are businesses too. So you have to think editorial, which is not promotional. It is creating a value. You're thinking the way the editor would. You're thinking about the audience and what information do I have that I can impart that's of value to this audience, and that's what you're offering.
Exactly, and it's not about self-promoting. It's about offering something in value. So like it's a compromise. Like if you want them to do for you, you got to also do for them. Just like friendship, just like relationships.
Exactly.
It's all about compromise. You know, you do for them, they do for you, and that's how you succeed in life and how you get far in life. And this is something a lot of people sadly fail to understand, that sometimes they're one-sided or they insist on their way, and often that leads to failure.
Right, and it's not about just climbing, you know, like you were saying before, it's not about climbing to say like, oh, who can do something for me?
Exactly.
It's about just genuinely offering value, whether that's in your business, whether that's in your, you know, your friendships. And values can not necessarily mean money in that case. I mean, your value, you're offering something, you're bringing something to the table. You're not just like there for yourself, asking for something.
Exactly.
And everything is about, the bottom line, right, is people. It's about relationships. And that's the same right here in Toronto. It's the same at the Cannes Film Festival. It's the same in Hollywood. It's about the human being that is sitting beside you. And if you're genuine, people see that. And you will go far, right?
Absolutely, and that's so important for people to learn how important it is to give without expecting anything and to do without any expectation. And you know, I remember Nicki Minaj once said that to be successful, not only do you have to have faith in God, but you can't expect to be treated differently. You can't expect anyone to give you anything. You got to work without any expectation, and you have to be very passionate about what you're doing, meaning you have to love what you do. Because if you don't love what you do, why should you even be successful?
Yeah, and like you said, you have to respect the people that you meet along the way too.
Yes.
And that's everybody. Some of the people that I actually care about and respect in the Hollywood scene and stuff are the people that I have seen them and the way they behave. They're not behaving like divas. They are like, you know, treating everybody on set, everybody they meet in the same respectful way, the same, you know, and that's who, and they're supporting each other like that. With the people that I call our Cannes crew now, after 2 years of Cannes, these are people at all levels of the industry doing all kind, and they're supporting each other. They're coming out for each other's things. They're like, hey, you keep kicking. You know, I saw a great meme the other day, and it said, the people at the top people at the bottom are competitive. The people at the top are supporting each other or collaborating.
Exactly.
So it's a great lesson. You know, we sometimes think, oh, you've got to like be a shark, no.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point behind that. So my other question to you is, what advice would you have for anybody that wants to become a publicist or wants to get a job in the media like journalism or newscasting or something like that? What advice would you give to them so we can tell our audience, you know, how to learn and maybe they can potentially achieve their dreams from
for journalism, which was my first goal actually as a young person. If you'd asked, I didn't know what a publicist was.
Yeah.
And if you'd asked me what I wanted to be, I would have said a journalist. And the advice I was given is, if you want to be a journalist, don't go to journalism school. Well, you can, but the key to being a journalist isn't going to take 2 years of journalism school. The better route to that would be to find something you love to write about, learn about that, and start writing about it. And now you've got a niche expertise in something and you become that writer about that, and then you're hired to write about that. In terms of PR, wow, what a question. It's such a weird skill set. You know, it's an amazing job. You couldn't pay me to do anything else. I would never, ever, there's not a thing in the world I'd rather do for real. And it's, but it's everything, it's, you know, communication, and it's people, peopling, and his strategy, and it's all that. So basically, you have to know how to write, you have to love people, and you have to do well communicating with people. And I don't think you need the 4-year communications, and it's a PR degree. It's 4 years of going to school. I didn't do that, and I'm at the top of my game, invited in to teach other people how to do this. So do what you love, start doing it, find one client who believes in you, learn to write a press release, learn to do it. Like they say, I hate to quote the Nike thing, but just do it. I always say, if you want to be an author, don't say, oh, I'm going to be an author someday. Start writing, and now you're an author. Just start doing it. Believe in yourself, like you always say. Everything starts with believing that you have the capacity to doing it, and then realizing, look, if someone else did that, I can do it. And then just figuring out the first step. And once you've taken the first step, you can see clearly the second step, and it looks a lot easier to reach. And then the third, and the next thing you know, you're at the top of the mountain.
Exactly, and that's something people really need to learn as well, because it is all about passion, self-belief, and hard work,
1,000%.
and smart thinking. And it's sad that, we hear that many people don't want to work hard these days, and maybe that's probably why they struggle sometimes in their life. And maybe people really need to understand that money and success does not grow on trees, and this is something they really have to work hard for.
And you got to believe
it's not
you
an
can
overnight
make it.
process.
People talk themselves down, say, oh, I can do it, but I'm never going to make it. Well, if that's what you think, then you're obviously, even if you're working hard, you're not goaling correctly, right? And so you're not going to make it. If you believe you can make it, that you're worth making it, and that you intend to bring value to people along the way, you're going to go to that step. And when you're at that table, boy, you're going to be great. You're going to do this, and you're going to help people, and it's going to happen. Doors will open for you, and if they haven't yet, just keep on. It's not instant. It takes time. Like, I think my trajectory, it feels like it's been forever, but really it has been very quick. It's been 3 or 4 years where I've got to myself to this global level. And I'm really proud of that, But it was a lot of work. But then again, look back 3 years. Who can't do, you know what I mean? If we have the goal and we single-mindedly say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you'll find yourself in a very different position than where you started. But it starts with belief in yourself. And again, kindness to everybody you meet along the way. Because, if you're just blindly thinking about self-promotion, you may get there. But it's going to be a pretty empty success, and it won't. It won't last.
Absolutely. And that's something a lot of people have to understand too, that it's not about self-promotion. It's about doing something because you love it and because you're interested in it. And that's where we come from the category of organic interest, is when you do something for the passion of loving it. So that's when you don't expect anything or you don't want anything. You're just doing something because you love it. And I think I remember one time I heard somebody from Shark Tank say, do something so much that you love without expecting money or any success or anything from it, and let the success come by naturally. And in the end of the day, I always think everything has to be natural.
Yeah, and people will notice. That doesn't mean people won't buy an ad, doesn't mean you don't have to do something to, get eyes in front. But
Exactly.
Yeah, again, always being genuine and being real and being fair and we've talked about this, being ethical. This is what I believe. People will say, you don't need to. Listen, that's where I think people are the bottom line. People think money is the bottom line. People are the bottom line. And I think if you're taking care of the people that are around you, hopefully they'll be taking care of you. And, everybody, what does it say? A rising tide lifts all boats, or whatever they say, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, that concludes our show for today. Thank you all so much for joining the Dark Joseph Ravine Show. Until next time.